Good evening and welcome to Tuesday Meets session. Tuesday Meets are audio meets. Today's topic of discussion is Karesa criteria. So without ado, I would like to invite Dr. Ram sir to take the session forward. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for joining this meeting. I would like to understand whether my voice is audible or not. Those who are watching on YouTube, just write audible. We'll begin in just few seconds. Okay, audible, loud. So let's begin now. Thank you very much for joining this meeting on the short notice. Today's topic is about uh, CARESA criteria. This is WealthCon's copyright criteria we have developed in uh, 2017. Uh, the basic components are same. However, we add few points as technology is advancing. We may have to update with few things, but the underlying principle remains the same. Before we begin the meeting, let me clear a few things. That this meeting is only for the educational purpose. Do not consider it as an investment advice. Do not invest in the mutual funds which are being demonstrated. This is just for the illustration purpose. You have to do your own. You write down the notes or important steps and do it yourself. The CARESA criteria is used for selection of mutual fund. Uh, Now, if you are a beginner, it becomes very easy to select new mutual funds and start your portfolio. However, if you are already having the mutual fund, then you have to do the analysis whether that mutual fund has performed, how that has performed in the uh, past, as well as you can compare with the benchmark. So let's understand the mutual fund selection criteria. CARESA stand for, its acronym for category, age of the mutual fund, asset under management, return, expense ratio, sorting ratio, alpha. There are more than 5,000 mutual funds. If you try to analyze each mutual fund, it will take huge time and it will be a waste of time. So we have to use some screening criteria. So this is a screening criteria where you can filter out. So first step is to eliminate and then select. So these are the points. Now let me discuss one by one. So in the category, as per SEBI, there are uh, three main category and two are other categories in which you can remember equity, debt, and hybrid. These are three main categories. Others are like solution oriented or other ETF, etc. Okay. So the your mutual fund should depend upon your target, that is time horizon, your age, that is investor's age, risk appetite, what is the goal, what is the how much is expertise, and how much time you can give to track the market. For passive investing in mutual fund, you don't need too much expertise. You don't have to track as well. But what is important is how much is your time horizon and your risk appetite. and risk tolerance. Now, the risk appetite is your willingness to take risk. So you write down the notes for your own purpose. What is the risk appetite? It is your willingness to take risk. Most important part is what is the risk. You might have heard the statement that mutual funds are subject to market risk. Read all scheme related document carefully. But have you ever wondered what exactly risk mean? So we will discuss few points about it. But risk appetite. If you are risk averse, that you don't want to lose any money if it price goes down or it is a short term, then you should avoid the equity mutual fund. Focus on the debt mutual fund. So equity mutual fund invest into the shares. Debt mutual fund invest into the bonds and deposits. And hybrid is a combination of two. So you have to decide which category you want to invest first. Once you decide the category, there are subcategories, multiple categories. I'll demonstrate those as well. Then is the age of mutual fund. We recommend that mutual fund should be at least more than 5 year old. Older is the better, but 5 year. Why not new fund offer or less than 1 year or 2 year? Because there is no data to do the analysis. New fund offer has only one thing, that is jhakas brochure with some assumption and some fancy terms. Apart from it, it has nothing. So we strongly recommend to avoid NFO, that is new fund offer. Fund should be at least more than 5 year old, that is age. Second point is asset under management should be more than 500 crores. You may ask why? Because if fund is smaller, then it will be costly because fund manager have to bear the cost uh, by taking the cost from the smaller mutual funds. So more than 500 crore. So category, I explained that there are three categories, mainly EDH. And then there are return, expense ratio, shortness, alpha, that I'll explain now. Okay. First, I will divide parameters for easy remembering, where higher is better and lower is better. For example, return, higher is better. Alpha, higher is better. Shortness ratio, higher is better. Okay. So you can remember this: higher is better. Higher the return, better. Higher the alpha, better. Shortness ratio, higher the better. And then lower the better. Lower the expense ratio. Expense ratio is the cost of fund management cost. Uh, It has to be low, otherwise you will not get good return. The regular plans which sold by the agents have higher cost than the direct plan. So we strictly say that never invest into the regular plan. Always invest into the direct plan. Now, who can invest into regular plan? Uh, the people who wants help from the agent, the people who cannot read English or understand English, they uh, can go for the regular plan from the agent. But since you are attending this meeting and watching this English video, it is not required for you. What you go is only direct mutual fund. So expense ratio lower the better. We say that uh, mutual fund should have expense ratio less than 1%. Okay. Standard deviation, lower the better. There is no cutoff. Drawdown, I'll explain that drawdown is a price down, lower the better. So remember this. In Caresa, standard deviation and drawdown is not there, but I added here for the symmetry purpose. Okay. Symmetry purpose means if there are three things on this side, it is easy to remember if three items are on this side as well. Otherwise, standard deviation drawdown is not a part of CARESA. So you can take a snapshot of this parameters, three parameters, higher the better. This three parameter, lower the better. If you are curious, you can do the study on ChatGPT, Gemini, or Google about this parameter. Because once you understand this six parameter, 90% of your mutual fund concept will be clear. Okay. This now the CARESA criteria is based on what principle? It is based on the consistency in return. That means mutual fund should have above average return on longer period, 3 year, 5 year, 1 year, and lower cost and risk. Okay, so these are the two principles of mutual fund selection. Now, this risk and return are inversely proportional, or not inversely, they are go hand in hand, that directly proportional. If you want to have good more return, automatically risk increases. So there is a trade-off. So you have to accept some trade-off. Now this is one website which our team has developed. It is in the process. Okay, I'll just show this, and then I'll go to the value research online for the detailed analysis. You can take a snapshot of this website. This is even easy to remember. etfmutualfund.com. This is our website. We have simplified mutual fund selection. There is a fund screener, then there is a compare, calculator, then there are news, blogs. We are inviting blogs from our seniors. They can post, they can send blogs to admin. They will be posted here. There are certain videos as well. So you visit this website, etfmutualfund.com. Easy to remember, etfmutualfund.com. There is no S. I'll show the fund screener here. This is under the development, but we say beta version. If you have some suggestion, you can send to the admin as well. But I'll demonstrate how we are going forward. Okay, so let us say you want to select, these are the categories. I said there are debt, equity, hybrid categories. There are 35 categories almost. I'll demonstrate one or two categories, and then you can use other category. Let us say you want to select a small cap fund. So select the small cap equity schemes called small cap fund. And then here you want lower expense ratio. So reduce this to, let's say, up to 1.5 or 1 as well. So I'm just reducing the expense ratio. So the high expense ratio will be eliminated. You can increase the AUM. So it will be more than 500. Okay. Age, we already put 5 years. Okay. So less than 5 year won't be available there. So category is here. Age is here. Okay. We have shortness and alpha and standard deviation as well. So this is the age, AUM, expense ratio. So lower is better. Okay. Now go to the return as well. There are shortness and alpha. As of now, shortness ratio may not show correct number here. We are developing, but alpha it is there. How to do the screening? It's very easy. Select on 5. Start with the 5 year. Okay. And write down the see, this is 5 year return. Write down the, or remember, or take a snapshot of this top see above average, above, how many mutual funds are there? At least 21 are there. Okay, 21 are there. That means top 10 mutual fund. So please remember first five on 5 years, then select on 3 years who are the consistently on top, and then 1 year who are consistently on the top. And just see here automatically, you will see all parameters here. Expense ratio a point less than more than, sorry, expense ratio is less than 1, that is desired. AUMA is more than 500. So which was the consistently, can you write in the chat box? Uh, if you want, I'll again start with the 5 year. At least remember first five names. And go again. Yeah. Invesco was in consistently above average. So what is the logic here? Let's say there are 100 students in a class, and you want to see which student is consistently performing. So it is not good idea that one school student come first in the first year, and second year he is in 19th or 80th number or 85th number. So we want a student which are consistently in a upper quarter or above average. So the mutual fund which are consistently in the top list, that is shown as a consistency. So this is a very simple website we developed. You can use it. Since this is in the beta phase, so accuracy may not be correct as of now, but next 6 months we will have the comprehensive website which is required for us, our requirement. So meanwhile, I'll show the value research online, which is we always show for the demonstration purpose. Okay. So take a pen and paper and write the steps. So website name is valueresearchonline.com. Okay. And when you type, you can type on Google, you got the home page. This is how home page looks like. It will show a lot of ad. Don't click anywhere. Just scroll down slowly, slowly, slowly. See, this website have a lot of distractions. So that's why we are creating our website, which is clutter free. So you can see, imagine, see how easy is. There is no other clutter. Just go and start selection. But I'll show here because our website is under the process, but it will be definitely a good idea. So you select on the screeners, fund screener. I shown you fund screener. This is how screener look. Here you select the category. Let us say I'll show the small cap only and apply here. So you get a chart here. There are 59 funds. Okay. In previous demo, I shown where 21 is there because I already eliminated the high expense ratio and AUM. Here all are there. So what you do, go to the risk status and click on the alpha. Okay. So we need mutual fund which has more than one alpha. Okay. So you can see that there are hardly 15, 20 which has more than one alpha. Okay. Then more than one shortage ratio. These are the uh, elimination criteria. Remember, shortage and alpha, higher the better. Okay. That means we will uh, eliminate less than 1% alpha and 1% shortage ratio. Okay. Now you can apply. Those who are uh, curious or expert in Excel, they can download export to Excel and they can do the sorting as well. Okay. Those who are not there, they can go directly to the return. First, go to the, now there are too many types of return. In a previous website, what we shown is the trailing return. Trailing return. Okay. If you click here, this is a trailing return. Trailing. There are multiple types of returns: trailing return, SIP return, annual return. So trailing return, what it shows that if you consider today's price, how much CAGR mutual fund has given in last 5 year, 3 year. That is a trailing return. So it will be considered from today and backward. They will calculate from today's price and go backward. So this trailing return will change every day because price changes every day. Okay. Uh, there is another return type, SIP return. This is a different type of return, which is XIRR. And then there is annual return. First, understand the trailing return and find out who are the toppers. Okay. So you can see the Invesco is a topper. Just remember this four names. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and see whether they are consistently performing every year. 3 years. Okay. Now let's sort, and 5 years, 3 year. Okay. So you can see this. These names are consistent. Okay. Now rank may not be correct because you can see that every year, see new mutual funds are added. So here 34 is there, 26. But this gives an idea that this was the rank 1 in 3 years, rank 3 year. Okay. So Invesco is there. Then you get to the 1 year return. This is 1 year return. And find out which is now again at top. So Invesco is still here. Out of 44, it is at 6th number. So you can see the Invesco is consistently at the topper. Okay. Topper means not first, but at least top quarter, above average return. So this is giving you consistent return as in terms of trailing return. Okay. Let's go and find out SIP return. Let's say if someone has done SIP 5 years ago, how much return that mutual fund has given. So you see that even SIP return. Now it's the trailing return, right down. Trailing return is point to point return. That means there is single entry 5 years ago. And if you are exiting today, so there are only two entries, one entry and one exit, 2 points. That's why it is called as point to 2 point, or only 2 points. In SIP, every month you are investing. So there are multiple entries and single exit, let's say today's exit. So SIP return, which is again topper, 3 year, 5 years. So what I suggest, you focus on only 3 year, 5 year for long term as well as SIP. Forget the 1 year, because if you go too many, then you will get confusion. So long term 3 years, 5 years, SIP 3 year, 5 year. So any mutual fund is consistently at SIP return as well as long term return. You write down those names and go again to the risk stat and find out whether alpha and Sortinos, they are fitting in our criteria. Usually they are fitting. Now you see the alpha of Invesco is 8.38. So it is well above 1. Sortinos ratio more than 1. So my question to you is this Bandhan alpha, are they fitting into the CARESA criteria? That means Sortinos above 1 hai, less than 1 is elimination, above 1 is selection. Okay. So these two parameters. So there are many things, but at the beginning, I think this is enough. Okay. If you are confused that tiebreaker, then you can use the standard deviation. Okay. Lower the better. Standard deviation, lower the better. Okay. Now, what is the shortage ratio? What is alpha? That is a big topic of discussion. It uh, might not be possible to cover. But alpha is the uh, mutual fund return, which is excess of index. That means if index gives 12%, index that means which are the index, let's say Nifty 50. So if index gives 12% and mutual fund gives 15%, so alpha is 3. That means mutual fund return minus index return is equal to alpha 3. Okay. So if you ask me which is one number which tells the expertise of fund manager, that is alpha. So in a mutual fund, actively manage funds. For passive manage fund like exchange traded fund, alpha is not relevant. So remember, actively managed fund, alpha is the one number which tells whether mutual fund is performing better than index or not. Now I'll show here the data. So this is the alpha, and there are 50 odd mutual funds. If you go down, at least half of them. Now, when you see minus alpha, minus, that means they are less than the index. You see that there are many mutual funds are giving minus alpha. That means they are performing poor than the index. And if you check any regular plan, there will be few more because there is more expense ratio. So check alpha of your mutual fund. So if you have a mutual fund, check alpha of your mutual fund. Shortage ratio is the formula is like this. You don't have to go into too much detail. Shortage ratio is what mutual fund return. Let's say mutual fund return minus FD return. It is called as risk-free return. Let's say FD return and a standard deviation of downside return. Okay, so basically it is a standard divided by the this return of mutual fund minus FD divided by standard deviation of downside return. There is another term शार्पिस, ये दोनों सिस्टर हैं, ठीक है. Both gives almost same information. The difference is denominator. Here the standard deviation is plain standard deviation. Here it is only downside standard deviation. So you don't have to use both. Use only shortness. These two parameters. So this I shown you about one category. I shown you a standard deviation. Now here, whenever there is a tie, you can say that whichever has a lower standard deviation, you can select. You can use this as a tiebreaker. I used one term again of drawdown. Now this drawdown is again one very interesting concept. It suggests that, let's open this one. When index fall, all stocks fall, all mutual fund fall. So what you check is why drawdown is important, because the real risk to retail investor is the drawdown. Now here I will show, go down. I open one mutual fund, you can, and go down this worst period. See worst period, you can compare. Where is the worst? This. So this is a COVID month. You compare this with the index. Now you can see that this has the worst is, this is in COVID, the lockdown day, lockdown month, 36%. How do you compare? I will compare with one of the other fund, let's say Nifty Bees or this, remember 36%. I will use some index fund. निफ्टी बीज, निफ्टी बीज किधर है? This Nippon Nifty bees. So consider this as the benchmark. You will compare with this. In a medicine, we have the patient and there is a control. Okay, then only we can guess whether it is high. So consider this as a control, Nippon Nifty bees, and find out what happened uh, during that period, worst period. Okay, so worst period is 37. No, this is 2008. We have to see the 2022. Okay, it is not showing here. You can check another index fund, Nifty 50 index fund. Okay, you can check with the index fund. So this is 36 period. So it means that previous mutual fund, which was Invesco, it was as risky as that of index fund. Okay, so not much risk than the index fund. So idea should be it should not be riskier than the index fund. Second, this also help you to understand if your portfolio goes 37% down, are you ready to hold position? If it is not, then you should not invest in the risky fund. So I'll show one more fund just to understand the drawdown. So let's say this is one conservative fund which has small component of equity, and see how much is the drawdown here, 18%. So this drawdown in same COVID period, it is 11%. But this has less component of equity, so obviously the return will be also less. You can see that return, 5 years or CAGR is hardly 10%, 9%. Risk is also less. So here we comes to discussion that lower the better. There are three parameter, lower the better. Three parameter, higher the better. I'll show few more categories. Let's go and select few more categories. I'll demonstrate again. Go to home page, go down. इधर उधर नहीं देखना, डायरेक्ट स्क्रीनर पे जाने का, otherwise you will get lost in all this so much chaos. Fund screener. Any want to show me? You can put into the chat box which I can show any category. Public demand. Okay. Flexi cap. Let's show flexi pack. First I'll show okay, flexi cap है, कैसा criteria demonstrate करते हैं. So go and select the flexi cap. Go to the return. Go to the SIP return. So in whichever sequence you do, there is no problem. Find out 5 years who are the toppers. Can see this. These are the toppers in 5-year SIP, 3-year SIP. Okay. So ICICI Pru, ABSL. This is not flexible. Flexi cap तो किया कि कुछ और ही किया. Okay, बराबर है. Then go to the long term. find out the toppers. Okay, so HDFC is again under the topper. Okay, so Bank of India is also topper. These two are consistently in topper, but they may not be available directly to public. But this one is there. Okay, then you go for the risk details and which SOT-to-NOS ratio and alpha. So you can see the alpha positive more than one alpha. These are the mutual funds here. SOT-to-NOS ratio more than one. Okay, so an expense ratio, you will see expense ratio at the snapshot here. Where is the expense ratio? नहीं, ये वाला हाँ. तो यहाँ पे भी जो more than 2 we reject it. Okay. Select the lowest expense ratio. So you can use a the way we have checklist tick mark. Let's say you open your mutual fund. I'll do you write down any name of mutual fund. I'll do the analysis. Okay, Motilal Oswal Mid Cap. Okay, so if you have mutual fund, you just type here and do the Motilal. Okay, all right. Step number 1. Now here I am showing individual. Previously I shown how to do the screening. Here I am showing how to use that Karesa criteria for individual. Let's go and select whether age is more than 5. Answer is yes. See the launch date 10 years. Tick mark. Asset under management, you can say the tick mark. So you have to do the tick mark. So this is a tick mark, tick mark, tick mark. So on this you are saying 3 parameter all are cleared. Then go to the risk status and find the SOT-to-NOS ratio and alpha. Okay, alpha is 2, SOT-to-NOS ratio is slightly less than 1, but just note it down. So here it is not fulfilling, here it is fulfilling. Okay, and then you compare with the index return. Okay, Karesa criteria is for the screening, in which you are finding top mutual fund. So here in this you can see rank within a category. Okay, in terms of return is 11. Okay, so it is not topper as such. Comparison is this. This is an index for this mutual fund. Is main return? This is average return is better than the index. Yes, because alpha is more. Okay. However, you will see that standard deviation is high. That means it is also taking the more risk. That is why SOT-to-NOS ratio is less than 1. So this return is achieved by taking more risk. For example, if you invest into the ETF of this index, your portfolio will be lesser. When price goes down, it will fall less than this. So it is taking more risk. That's why SOT-to-NOS ratio is this. Okay. Now your question will be very important that I have some mutual funds. How to do the analysis of mutual fund which is already in the portfolio? That will be the most important question. So that is why you should check the return of the category and mutual fund and alpha. If it is performing less than the index, then your mutual fund is not doing good. So alpha at this will tell you clear cut. In fact, alpha will tell everything about your mutual fund. If alpha is minus for consistently 2 years, you have to stop investing in that because that is poorly performing. So today you can go and find out whether your fund is performing or not. Check the alpha, check the return of with the index as well as category as well. So this is average return of entire category. That means if there are 30-40 mutual fund, average return, and this is index. So don't go into too much complication. Just compare with the index. Okay. All right. एक इक्विटी हाइब्रिड का बोल रहे करने को. लेट्स से आई विल शो वन इक्विटी हाइब्रिड. Again, go to the home page, home. So write down the CARESA criteria is a screening criteria to choose the fresh entry. CARESA is not applicable to the existing mutual fund entirely. Few things are there, but you are not selecting the best if you already it is there. So I'll give some time example that the marriage selection criteria is different from the divorce. That means when you want to do the when you are searching for the marriage, you are finding the best available option. Remember this word. It is funny and you will never forget. Marriage criteria is different from the divorce criteria. In a marriage criteria, you want to find the best among the option. That is where full CARESA criteria is applicable. In divorce, you cannot find the best. You are comparing whether the existing spouse, whether it is performing or not as per expectation. That's thing. You are so where you how do you check? You check with the index, or if cost is increased. That means if expense ratio is increased, performance is reduced, then you might want to get exit from the stock market. I'm not talking about the other thing, but just remember that what are the exit criteria. That underperformance, that means consecutive for 2 years, minus alpha, that is there. Second, expense ratio is increased, and the poor performance. So only these three are enough to decide whether to continue investing or get out. This is I'm showing another category of hybrid aggressive. कहाँ गए हम कहाँ गए हैं? Fund screener category, hybrid aggressive. So here is the hybrid aggressive, and you will go and find out the risk stats are there. Now is here alpha is not there, because in case of hybrid, index might not be there for the comparison. So what to do? You can use the short-term ratio a bit, but again there is a our criteria of return check, which is topper. So these two are topper. You can say CAGR 19, 16, 3. Check the SIP return, who are the topper in 5 and 3. Again, these 3 consistently. This you can see the consistent names. Okay. And then you can check their expense ratio under the short under the snapshot. Okay. Usually expense ratio are less in good performing fund. Or let's say directly go and find out expense ratio of those. This one. Okay. Open this and go and others and find out the expense ratio. Yes, tick mark. Less than 1, more than 500, and more than 5 year. Okay. And you have the other things as well. Comparison with the index here. Average is 12, performing better than the index. Standard deviation better than the index. Sharpe ratio better than the index. Shortness +1. So this is performing better than the index. See, for whether something is good or bad, it is always the comparison with either peer group or own return. Here in mutual fund, it is the index. Okay. So while doing the Karesa criteria in 2016, what we have done is first you eliminate eliminate based on the expense ratio, then shortage ratio, alpha, and then go for return. Okay. Return, there are multiple ways of comparing the return. One is called as CAGR return, variation of CAGR, point to point return, or trailing return. These are all CAGR. And then XIR, extended internal rate of return, that is SIP return. So two types of return are there. One is CAGR type return, and this is SIP. In CAGR, it is single entry, single exit. Here, multiple entries. So P2P return is available here as well. If you go and you can select a P2P return, that is point to point. If you go here, you can select here point to point. And starting date, let's keep January 2019. Why 19? So that COVID period will be also taken care of. 1st January 2019, and end date, let's say this one. So this is point to point return. That means how much CAGR, if you take the data from there, that means if someone invested in this mutual fund on this date, how much would have been returned. So here you can see that data as well. And you will note that most of the time, these findings are consistent. The mutual fund which has given high consistent return is seen in the P2P as well. Okay. Let's say category, I'll check another category. मल्टी कैप छोटा कैटेगरी है. Today's discussion is only for the selection criteria. For mutual fund, you need at least 1 month or 10 or 12 hours, which we cover in our IMP or family finance course. Okay, so this is point to point return. FlexiCap has given. Why Flexi? It has come again. Category. अप्लाई नहीं हुआ था क्या? Okay. So you can do screening by point to point as well. Then, so there are, this is a trailing return. This is also CAGR. But in point to point, you are selecting 2 points. In this trailing return, it is by default from today backward 3 years. But in point to point, you are selecting 2 points. SIP is CAGR. So there is something called as a rolling return as well. Okay? But that will be too much for today. Where you can compare more consistency of returns. Okay, because as of now, these are enough for the day. Any questions? How to monitor after starting SIP? What are the performance criteria for exiting? So write down the exit criteria. So the entry criteria is different. Okay. Exit criteria. First is performance and cost and risk. So if performance is down or low or reduced, let's say reduced, and this is increased. These are the exit criteria. If performance is lower than the index for consecutively 2 years, and cost is also increased and risk is increased, cost can be measured by expense ratio. Okay. How do you check the performance? I shown you the comparison. Then there is comparison as well. Okay, we can have the comparison on even our website as well. We have developed comparison. Compare. Tell me the two names of mutual fund, or let's say someone any Axis को करते Axis Flexi Cap and I'll Nifty. Okay, so here is the comparison. Here I took, you can remove one, this one, and then on index. Okay, so you are comparing Axis Flexi Cap with the Nifty 50. Okay, and check whether it is giving more return or performing or no. Okay, this is direct comparison, one to one. So you can find out whether it is performing or not. Obviously, it is performing better than the index Nifty. Why I took Nifty? Because you have to have some alternative. अगर ये नहीं तो फिर कौन? ये सब people say ना, ठीक है भाई, मोदी is not good, तो मोदी नहीं तो कौन बे? So if not this mutual fund, then what? So alternative is passive ETF, where you don't want to beat the market. You become the market. So why you want to invest into actively mutual fund? To get more return than the passive mutual fund. And for that, you have to compare with the passive mutual fund. Okay, so this is a passive mutual fund. You can take any Nifty, they are more or less same. This is exit criteria. If expense ratio, if it is going more than one and it is increased since last this current year, then that is not good sign. Why expense ratio should go up? Okay, so that is a very bad sign. Right? So there is something called as base TR and total TR. See the what TR consists of. So this is for you to do the analysis. TER, that is total expense ratio. What does it contains? First, if it is a regular plan, then it is agent commission. It is 1% of your asset under management. Then there is a brokerage, STT, custody, brokerage, STT, and other fees, government fees. Okay, so that is another cost. And then fund management cost, fund managers, AMC's cost, which might have uh, the fund management. So this is total TR, completely totally. All these have the total TR. Okay, and base TR includes only AMC, it exclude the agent as well as brokerage. Okay, so that is the cost. So one, you can reduce the agent cost by investing into the direct plan. Otherwise, you cannot reduce other cost by doing any selection. Uh, PARESA criteria for passive fund, no, this we use for the actively, because for passively, it just you just have to compare with the index. That's it. Is there criteria to select NFO for the investment? Uh, NFO criteria is no fund investing in NFO, because there is nothing to uh, do the analysis except Jhaka's brochure. Dr. Sneha says, we selected small cap fund in 2022. Now both have negative alpha. What to be done? So if there is a negative alpha for consecutively 2 year and underperformance with the index, then probably you'll have to switch the mutual fund. What is your view about SIF? I don't think we should go into that topic as of now, but be aware. एक चीज हमेशा याद रखो, कहीं पे भी काम आएगा. If something is being pushed by vested interest, then it is not good for you. It is for the commission. Here we are not pushing any because we don't get any commission. So that's why we say direct plan. What about SIF? See, I'm doing the postgraduate course of the SEBI, and our lecturers are the people who work in the SEBI and they develop the product. So SIF is the new girl in the class to fulfill the need of novelty and variety of the people who are bored in the mutual fund. I believe that the boring product which has low cost are the best product for the passive investing. So ETF mutual fund will be always better than the SIF, PMS, AIF in long run. Remember word long run. Short run AIF or PMS may show that they are giving good return. But when you see the long run, 7 year, 8 year, 10 years, these products cannot beat the index in long term because they are very costly. Cost is your opponent. Okay. If you remember only two things, one is a cost, okay, which is under your control. Return is not under your control. कर्मण्येवाधिकार से माँ फरीशु कदाचन. ऐसा होता है, आपका कर्म करने पे अधिकार है और आप कर्म करना अपने कंट्रोल में है, अधिकार नहीं है. वैसे कॉस्ट अंडर योर कंट्रोल में है, रिटर्न नहीं है. So if you reduce the cost of investing, you will automatically get the more return. Okay. Okay. How to decide the category? Now it will take 1 hour to decide the category. Today's focus was how to select uh, mutual fund and focused on the criteria which we developed in 2026, right? So another question is that, is there any training program for the beginner? You can visit website, uh, WealthCon website, or you can join our channel. You will get update about the courses. All right. Thank you very much. Admin, please post your our WhatsApp channel link into the comment section of YouTube. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful session, and thank you all the participants for attending it. Thank you.